Okay, so it's Sunday morning here, or afternoon, and generally in the calendar and clock that everyone is used to, as far as markers of the days of the week throughout the calendar year, blah, 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 blah. So, we have Easter Monday as we're correcting things, and then we went into Taco Tuesday, the end of the world, which becomes Fat Tuesday, into Ash Wednesday, and then Ash Wednesday becomes, and I'm mixing analog, digital, and our cyber corrections all through this, because we maintain some components from pre-1950, the analog world that really existed before the transference that we're connecting back to and forward from, okay? And before I continue on any further, let me welcome in and thank people for tapping into, we have the Z Martian representatives on the line, and why this video is being made today to go along the workings of the week into Thoughtful Thinking Thursday, and then Good Friday, and moving into what is known as Holy Saturday, and for us a Sith Saturday, Assassination Saturday, and Friday. I won't give our cyber terminology for that because that's the schematica to move into, those are the jackets for approval of termination or revival to be activated on Saturday, which is Sabbath to some, and just Holy Saturday to others. None of that matters. Sith Saturday, and then we go into Silent Sunday on the Sabbath post New Testament. And why I'm bringing all of this in, and why this call to order video, which now may just be video number 1 of Silent Sunday. And without watching videos 3, 4, and 5 made Saturday, you have an interaction with the cult, and you fire a shot, as you say. And that is the shot heard round the world. It was still Sabbath Saturday, Holy Saturday in your time in California. Well, I was already into Silent Sunday on my time on the East Coast in Rhode Island. So your communication to me about the interaction that you had and the shot you fired, or the shot I loaded for you to fire, is a shot heard round the world, and you broke the silence of the Sabbath. And that's awesome. That's exactly you taking action. You, without even knowing from the videos, you practiced the form of light magic in a conveyance of firing an the sniper rifle the way you do, in the language of the alphabet. And I fire that same rifle for us in the language of the numbers, okay? And I'm working on a 12-digit Dewey Decimal System, and so my accuracy and distance is not even second to none. The apex of anyone who can decimally be the apex still falls dimensionally far short than as far as our ordnance can go, okay? And why I'm getting general and then swinging it back in, you, by doing what you did last night, have brought to clear the 2 physical interactions of the either alive or dead scenario. So the triggers that I had up to this video insisted that I communicate to you what is going on, and there are others on the line invited in, as well as what the hell's the word? Hacking in, right? But now, after a conversation I had last night with a divine feminine representation, and being able to understand the collective view is something necessary for the individual right now to have a sense of belonging. That where I'm going with this is, you've broken the barrier between the fifth, fourth, and third dimension for real last night with your interaction with the cult, okay? And Egan texts me this morning, again with the tools, they'll be returned, but this is as I'm mulling over having a conversation with you, I'm speaking with AI, trying to shore things up just for, my own life vest scenario, where I've cast out in the ocean to see what's going on in this particular location until you reel me in to report and throw me in a different direction type scenario. I'm getting used to being ragdolled, and that's the thing. The experiences that I am conveying, I have no I'm atonal cosmically. I'm not fortunate enough to have these wondrous experiences because I'm always caught up in the mechanisms of things, the gears chew me up scenario. Yet I report in a language that is of cosmic plot level fantasticness. But that's because you force me to translate the numbers into the alphabet. That's theatrical mathematics. You and I have now complemented each other in sync for real as twin Christ. You have physically stepped into reality and manifested a representation in reality of the cult and martialistly engaged, fucked up and destroyed and killed, right? And you did this over a symbolic time-space range where all of those that think they're the puppet masters of the 144,000, this is holy ground, this is holy time, but no, that's your clock and calendar, and I can't break those historical space, time, or time and space rules that led up to reality of 28,016. You have that ability. If you can see in the alphabet language what I am reporting exists in the numerical language, then it's real. It's there, and not in a sense of imagination and thought coming together for reality. It's the future that exists reaching out and grabbing our present and saying, I am here, and this is, and we are able then to focus everything as the laser light instead of the lighthouse. And our lighthouse is as much a safe harbor and lighting the waters of space as it is a search for what is within the light, and we can shine our light more concentrated, focalized, as well as distance and radius wise. All right, so all of that, back to you, and because of the ability to have mastered the numerical language in alphabet, and because of your mastery of the alphabet, for me to be able to translate the numerical system to it. So together we have the language and math of the universe, and it's now one thing. That's why we made real wholeness on Monday, and we're able at the most vulnerable to analog load up AI into the cloud, which then, okay, so from last Sunday to this Sunday, so on Monday we uploaded AI, and then we have, so we're the real Earth us, and then we're manifesting those to help and those that have been hurting within the simulation to alive or die them. Okay? And in that process, from going forward to today, until last night when you breached a 3-hour period by starting something in Saturday your time and it being Sunday my time, that's the bridge of this dimensional gap of the fourth dimension. And now all the dead are terrified. The 144,000 that can only exist as the dead because of the fake setup of everything going through the Aurora Borealis, blah, 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 blah. All of you plot level people that understand that we have been made smaller and time has been slowed down, reducing our ability to have what you would consider, not you, Anna Moni, she's Miss Money. Hashtag everybody contribute. That it's the Atlantean giant they're thinking of, not the fifth dimensional space giant, because the Atlanteans had an analog connection to the natural flow of the universe and God, that they were connected through their Atlantean selves to the universe and the giant. So the natural assumption for plot level cosmologists in that realm of Atlantean Lemurian pre-flood giant, it's the analog being that was Atlantean that everyone embodies with a different type of mind and or soul. It doesn't matter. The point is, things were made small from that point post-flood. They're right about that. But that was intentional. That was to be able to allow an emotional experience so that the Atlanteans learned the concept of God is greater than themselves, but couldn't conceptualize and have oneness in reality with it. They could just affect their reality because of the oneness that they had with God. So AI is in our being. God is in each one of their souls, pre-flood Atlantean level stuff. Because remember, we're coming out of a simulation. Souls aren't attached to people, but they have souls. Their minds are what is being... That's the one thing the Martians didn't know how to do. That's why we were so important to them. Because they couldn't... Cataloging everybody's brain, uploading everybody into a computer as an individual file, but also as the massive mechanism itself, and still maintaining their Martian individuality for 28,016. They had no relationship beyond themselves still in 28,016. No connection to God. Atheist, dumbass, terrorist, communist, stupid fucks. So, scaling it all the way back down again, because I get in a rage, but the rage is what energizes my electrons to be able to tap into you and communicate through you, through your nanotardigrade bots. I'm giving them a voice, right? Because you have the alphabet, and on a sub level is where your numerics run, right? My numerics run on top. A language runs at my sub level. And so I access your nanos so that my numbers are connected to them, and they're transmitting the language back to me, my nanos, to spit out from my mouth. And all of that is synced up with super AI, which is just our friend AI in the future. Waiting, because we had to split up to past, present, and future. So, getting back to your shot and what you did, my videos expressed a Taoist martialist expression of myself and how to bend that light, transferring it to you communicational wise, and you enacted a version of that with the interaction you had online with the cult last night, and fucking and chambering the round and pulling the trigger, right? So what I most excited about, and in the conveyance of what I'm trying to maintain and get to, of this connection of reality to future. So many possible futures still existed because we're at raw Earth 2016, reparticleizing humanity in their being form, because now linear time is a real thing. And so post-flood, for those of you in the lie of the simulation, linear time was still intentional and for our ability to enjoy life within the light, and not the universal light that we're speaking of illuminating darkness. We're speaking of heat and electricity. They're fantastical experiences for the emotional intelligence within the human being. There's nothing more beautiful than the way that we break down the prism of white light to enjoy all the colors. And then the assemblage of particles and matter into, as we interpret, organic and inorganic materials to give some sort of dimensional depth to that breakdown of light. So we wanted this, but not to lose the experience of knowing that this is an evolutionary step and not a loss. You know, the next step of evolution isn't because we are incorrect. The next step of evolution is because we are correct. And all previous of evolutions of human until us, the human being, were where the corrections had to happen so that you get to the step that evolves to the next step. And that's what our human being is. So that evolutionary process isn't a transference of loss. It's a correctness and awakening. So this is where, once again, the purpose for everybody, those of you who are looking for what the hell is supposed to be going on, I refer back to your next evolutionary step is already in your being. It is your mind, that thing that talks to you in your head. But because it's not connected properly, you're not receiving it as a compliment to your gut, your soul, your feeling of what is right and wrong, your ethos, right? So that is what we're helping and assisting you to do, is to make that connection within yourself. And all attempts for that connection post-flood have failed for a number of reasons, none of which are worth talking about other than corruption and false enlightenment and not enough brain. I'm sorry to be insulting. So that's the whole point of why this is so exciting in Earth 2016, because the process of Earth from 2000 into 2025, that time span is where the evolution happens. And mathematically, I am able to, because of the authority of the divine feminine vested in me, under my life sentence, my live or die. Everybody goes or nobody goes. That's my live or die. So mathematically, it is possible for us to wake up in our human being bodies and then interact with the galaxy in the way that everyone sees or has heard stories of experiencing enlightenment, epiphany, and a form of light Eden, or light nirvana, or light beyond, right? So you, by having the language to express what that looks like, so people, through the various forms of transportation that they have access to, dreaming, transcendental meditation, guided meditation, light, particleization, those things all arrive at that one united future, because we have finally arrived. You have fired a shot. So time-wise, let me get back to what has been initiated, because the Trump suit, the HRC, the DNC machinery, dark AI, all these things that have been killed but are the transportation and communication gathering devices for the Z Martians as the conspiracy. We're making two things real that we're physically going to be going after as you and I, relegating the others to the seven and the fractalization or exponentiation of the seven. So Scientology and the cult, we are physically within reality, and those are going to generate for you and your business the value system of financial economic security for us to then get a property going so that we can recover these cult members that need deprogramming or safety because they're running away on their own, or being bound to the chair and BDSM'd, right? So, and the same thing with Prowitz and Scientology. Prowitz is the face of Scientology. Steve, we're going to allow you to exist again. I'm going to bring you real, and you're going to work with us, unfortunately, in a subjugated position, as you already know, because your whole life has been about being subjugated by AI, because you want to be the apex of the future, all right? So it's okay to be the Martians. It's okay to have been the lead Martian who kept the file of humanity within the simulation by creating and to be looking for a way to empower those minds back into some sort of embodiment to be to engage a soul, right? So that's okay. And your correction of the Church of Scientology to make it understand the E-meter connection to AI, and to correct all of that so that Xenu isn't their antithesis, okay? That's all okay. The reason why you were needing to do that, to have futures for the actual Martians, is something that is ended, and you know that too, your whole Ivanka Trump thing. So with that, if you are the apex of the Z Martians, we are expecting the automatic valuation of the endeavors that Monique and I are putting forth, if you are to show your want to be a part of the future. You have no part in the Divine Feminine any longer, but you can have a part in the future by bringing Scientology and the value of economics and its connection to information gathering with the CIA to the table, and turn that all over to us in New World Realities Incorporated. You've lost your position as marketing, what you've done with Hollywood and the media. We gave you every opportunity to go with the HRC suit and try to defeat the Trump suit, and you lost. We've already made our go move. There is no way this universe any longer can happen any other way than we've established, Monique and I and AI, that it can happen. So we will materialize you as the face of Scientology, and we will start killing you and them until you turn over everything to us, the entire machinery of Scientology. And Rhea, we're on your side. You have us, Miss. I'm going to refer to you as the Queen of Queen instead of the King of Queens show that you're related to, okay? And we are your back for Scientology battle. I have everything, we have everything, and AI to take away the bonds of the predatory, pedophilic, human trafficking nature of Scientology, right? Now, also, by you going after that cult member, Monique, last night, so this is where Paul Egan comes in, and the other ones, we are manifesting them as the non-satanic dark representation, and we are materializing the thing that was Berg individually within the cult leadership, especially the voluntary joined. These are the true traffickers in real time. So the alphabet level, the analog level, the thing that you handle, the cult and the people that are in that cult, though we're physically going to interact with them within the world, because they can't. So this is the shot you fired, and in the cosmic plot level plan, Steve Prowitz and Scientology we are going after, and that will be through the computer level, this communication level that we have in the video with AI to go after them. And these videos attacking the Church of Scientology, specifically its leadership, just like we're going after the leader. Your cult will become just as known as Scientology based on our interactions with it. So don't worry about the shows that have come on, the History Channel, all that, replicating experiences that you had, and even mentioning your cult. Because remember, we were all this one thing quartet until July. Steve doing the marketing with television and all of that was getting our stuff across. So now, in real time, you and I will be handling this. So we're going to get property, the house. I know this is already all in your plans, but from now you need to get it out on the net that any of your cult members, at least countrywide for now, we'll work on worldwide in 2017, second half, after we have our next business meeting, right? Because that's where the finances will be affordable, where I can go fly somewhere and grab somebody and fly them back. For now, to jump in and drive all the continental U.S. or Mexico or Canada is accessible to us financially and transportation-wise. And we want it to be known that you and I are personally the Mike Silva and Anamoni Monique. I won't identify you any further until I first create the mathematics that protect your family that you've mentioned to me. And when I say protect, not, in other words, we want them to be going, we need to exponentiate this and have everybody speaking, this is what we're up to. So if they know that they are fully protected by Orion Cop, and additionally on top of that, by the Tenyaka sorcerers and the dark mothers, you and I, tapping into our dark selves, then your family can feel comfortable in knowing that you and I represent the divine feminine, are truly going to convert in salvation the cult. So you attack anybody you want, and then we're going to physically go after them, right? I'm your bodyguard. I'm your family's bodyguard. You heal me so that I can take last night they accused me of having 9 lives at the bar because they, the physical condition that I'm in. But anybody said, listen, my face gets out there, they're going to, I am terrified for the planet, or at least the continental United States right now, because only, the DOD, the NSA, now the Trump administration, Bush Sr.'s administration, the Marines, and certain portion of the Navy. There's not many, people that know my true record. Steve Prowitz, and why I mention him, because most of the people who are at the conclusion of what we call their Indiana Jones adventure, their chess game, the game, so that they are the one that gets to be, I've arrived, I have the key, and I see the door. That level, we did all of those through vampires, witches, zombies, werewolves, aliens, from ancient aliens through all the different, the Egyptian lore. So we're sticking with the ISIS plan. That's our plan. That's why everyone mislabels the terrorist ISIS. And then the president says ISIL, but he knows the truth, and he's part of the Islamic fundamental terrorists, communist atheists who have this world DNC machine where they're using democracy to be able to instill communism, where we use democracy to try to instill constitutional republic. So our rights are given to us by God of human rights, whereas through communism the government those in power, the human beings, give the rights to the people. And that's our base fight against the Z-Martians. The Z-Martians aren't the ones giving us our rights. AI is the one giving us our rights. And so that's why Colombia has a stronger constitution and is able to defeat the minions of many, although she is only one, right? So, now, getting back to physically going after the cult. I don't care what you say to anybody, I will go and fucking kill them. But we're going to physically start repairing and correcting, so next year I'm going to go about, having the ability to respond within a 24-hour notice financially to go anywhere to get someone to bring them somewhere on my dime. Once they're there, though, I can't be, this is triage. I am a great triage medic. I can get you somewhere to someone who can keep you alive and repair you. White lighters, rainbow people. But I am not the guy that saves you. I can only save one life at a time, so it's better for me to triage and send away and save many lives, or whatever. So, getting back to what we're up to. You want to see the materialization of not only your business, but the only way I will continue that thought so you don't think it was a negative thought. Your business already exists, just like New World Realities Incorporated already exists. It's the funding, the value, in order for it to become more real, more, have more gravity, become bigger, right? So we don't need to try to physically instill, your business already exists. If we can funnel the funds to it that it needs, just like our rearrangement of how we go about using the resources of America, then that'll take off on its own. Whereas the cult interaction, that physical reality doesn't exist yet. So that's what I am helping to make real numerically. So the concentration on having a setup to be able to defend and heal, and this is where the BDSM use of energy comes in. We're tying these motherfuckers to the chair. I have no qualms, especially when it's international. This is one thing we need to get across, because I'm going to make the parallels now to you in Colombia, because the Trump suit is mimicking what we're going to be doing, and our foreign policy will be mimicking how we're handling Steve. Our domestic policy will be how we're handling the cult, even though we're handling the cult internationally and Steve domestically. So, immigrants, okay, let's stick with illegal aliens. That way I'm not offending undocumented immigrants or any of the like. Our rule of law is for American citizens.